Good morning, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. I have moved into my brand new apartment just a few days ago. It is completely empty. In fact, the floors are wood, so you're hearing just like echoes upon echoes, and I do apologize. I'm getting some mic upgrades in the coming few days, actually, so hopefully the mic will sound better. But I'm also going to get some furniture, so maybe like a couch right there and like a rug right here, and move the exercise equipment over to like that corner back there. We might do a little apartment tour. In fact, I actually kind of already did one, but once I get some furniture and stuff, I'll actually do like a real apartment tour. But it is nice. That's all I got to say. We're not going to go on about all this stuff. But I mean, also look at the view. I know you guys can't see it. It's really bright. It snowed yesterday, and I live right on a beautiful bike path. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, that's enough about that. Maybe we'll make an apartment video. But today we need to be talking about the Desert Treasure 2 Fallen Empire. Yes, they came out with a blog post regarding the rewards. So you guys know how it goes. We're going to, ooh, look at that. The cam didn't even freeze. Beautiful. Setting this whole thing up again, the whole computer setup, I think fixed it. So also, I'm not going to have RuneScape in the background because I am going to be looking at the blog on this monitor. And so like my runes, you guys don't care about me smelting rubies anyway. All right. So let's take a little look. Take a first peek at the rewards from Desert Treasure 2, The Fallen Empire. So for those that don't know, this is their new big Grandmaster quest that's coming out later this year that they introduced in the Winter Summit, and they've proposed some rewards. Now, I briefly glanced through this. I'm pretty excited about the ending little idea they had. So stick with me, boys. Oh, also, be sure to like I forgot I'm recording on YouTube. We got to get some likes down in the bottom right there. See where my finger's pointing? Click that like button and be sure to subscribe. All right. Also, there was already some updates, so we'll talk about that maybe toward the end. The sands of the Caridian Desert are stirring once again. Strange happenings and even stranger visitors have appeared along the desert's eastern shore near a recently uncovered ancient vault. My neighbors are going to get so pissed. It just sounds so loud. Like, I swear to God, we're going to hear some knocking on the door like, hey, dude, can you quiet down? I can't. All right. While some secrets lie buried deep, others have been scattered to the winds. 4 remnants of a forgotten fallen empire, untouched and discovered for lifetimes. Interesting. Duke Succulus, Vardorvis, and the Leviathan, the Whisperer. Okay, so those are like the 4 little bosses. They're not little bosses. They're like full-on bosses. So this quest, for those that don't know, again, it is introducing 4 demi-bosses. I'm calling them demi-bosses because it's not like a raid or anything, but like 4 legit bosses like Vorkath that are going to come out. So that is like an insane dumpage. You know what I'm talking about? Just like one update, like 4 new bosses. So we'll see how they are, at least. Are you prepared to uncover the mysteries of what these bosses are going to drop? Well, we hope so, because that's what this blog is all about. Today, we're asking you to give the green light to a handful of exciting new offerings that will drop from the 4 fearsome bosses of Desert Treasure 2, The Fallen Empire. That is just, it's such a good name, you know? Desert Treasure 2, The Fallen Empire. Like, so generic, but like, you know, it's nice. All right, without giving too much away, I'm gonna give credit to Mod Ed for that. He probably came out with that. That was great job. No secret that it probably wasn't Mod Ed, but like, I'm just trying to thank Mod Ed for everything. Mod Ed's a fucking king. I don't know why, just his lore, his whole, he's just a great addition to the team. I was about to drink this. You know what? We're going to take a sip, boys. All right, enough about Mod Ed, although he is a king, and we're going to get him on the Sabacast one day. Okay, it's no secret that 4 repeatable bosses, each with their own unique drops, is a first for questing in old school. While the designs aren't finished, we expect the bosses to have a wide difficulty range. Some sit at the level of accessibility you might expect from enemies like Vorkath. Ooh. While others are shaping up to be the toughest post-quest encounters we've ever made. So, isn't the previous hardest encounter Vorkath? I mean, you just say that it's a little bit harder than Vorkath, right? Or I guess the new quest. Listen, guys, my PC stuff has been packed away for 2 weeks while I was moving, so I haven't even literally logged in. I logged in last night, but like, I haven't logged in. It's so weird. Like, I play this game almost every single day. And then for a 2-week span, I just wasn't able to log in, basically. So it feels weird. And I also haven't killed the new boss yet because of, just a busy schedule and all that. So that boss looks pretty hard. I guess that's what they're comparing it to. All right, so that's cool. So it looks like the base will be Vorkath. I don't think anything's going to be easier than Vorkath. That's cool to hear. This range of difficulty means we're aiming for the rewards to sit just below raid level while still packing a punch. In accordance with our new polling process, if the top level concepts below pass the poll, we'll move to community consultation before giving you the chance to get your hands on them in a beta and lock them in for good. All right, Virtus robes, or as I call them, Virtus robes. We already let the cat out of the bag on this one at Winter Summit, and those of you with better memories might remember when we originally proposed these magical robes as a reward from Nex back in October 2021. It's well past time to take these ancient magic boosting robes off the shelf, and where better to obtain them than the sequel to the quest that granted you ancient magic in the first place. Okay, I just gotta ask this. I swear, there's gotta be someone else that's wondering. Why is it ancient magic with a K? And, why did they call it ancient magics in some... Is that, some British term? They just add a K to it? Or are we just, I'm just confused. I thought magic was just spelled with a C. You know what I mean? I feel like I've just been too embarrassed to ever ask because I thought I'd be an idiot by asking. But now I'm going to ask anyway in a public fucking setting. So if you guys want to flame me down in the comments and explain why the hell this has a K and sometimes an S at the end, let me know down in the comments. That's to get you boys commenting. Boost the algorithm. All right. No, but seriously, I really do wonder. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. For those of you who don't remember, Virtus robes are a powerful high-level magic armor set that boosts the powers of the ancient elements: blood, ice, shadow, and smoke. Of course, it also comes with some hefty damage or magic damage bonuses. Okay, that looks pretty shit. I don't know. I just hate this look. I know it's supposed to be themed after Nex, but this look is just horrible. Dark purple, fucking Nex budget ass cloth geared, does anyone like how this looks? Maybe if you were 11 years old and you played this game and Virtus was out before then, you probably have some weird nostalgia fix for everything back then, so you're just whatever, and you're so blinded. But bruh, this just looks horrible. Anyway, I mean, I'm still gonna wear it, but you know what I mean? Maybe I don't know, maybe this just looks bad. All right, here's some concept art of what... I apologize to the artist profusely. It's not your fault. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't. Plus, the gear you're going to wear... I guess magic gear is kind of purplish a little bit, but not a fan. And I'm not even going to offer any opinion. No, for real though, Ancestral is amazing. Ancestral looks very clean. It looks classy. It looks fitted. This looks like something you pulled out of your grandma's basement from the fucking 1920s and just put it on as a costume. It's terrifying. All right, at this stage, we just want to know whether you agree that they'd make a great reward. We're not proposing any specifics yet, although we do plan to make adjustments to the older proposal based on the feedback you sent us. Or you send us, as in we're going to do that, I think. With all that in mind, here's our first poll question. Okay, so yes, I'm pretty sure both of them will pass. I mean, I'm okay with it coming into the game. I just wish they'd make it look really fucking awesome, just better than this. Maybe it's just because the Nex or whatever they called, not ancestral, ancient ceremonial clothes. It's just reminding me of that, and I hate that. Ancient Scepter upgrades. The Ancient Scepter. It feels like only a couple weeks ago we were paying Eblis a visit after securing our 1 in 50 Ancient Icon drop from the Phantom Muspa. Ice cold. Not sponsored, by the way. We got to put that in the cam? No. And if it weren't for you meddling data miners, we'd have really surprised you all with the announcement that we actually have more plans for this iconic weapon. And we want to share them with you today. In keeping with the Desert Treasure theme, we'd like each of these bosses to drop an untradeable gem, likely as a pity drop in the style of Vorkath's head, corresponding with their respective ancient elements. These gems could be combined with the Ancient Scepter to buff the chosen element. Okay, so Shadow, Smoke, Ice, and Blood, and you attach it in the middle. All right. You've already found some models. We might as well show off the concept. Wait, what? Why is there a frowny face? But this goes beyond freeze more good. We've got some really creative ways to buff these elements in a way that'll really shake up the meta. In particular, we want to focus on Ice and Smoke. A whole bunch of monsters are immune to poison and freezing. We want to propose freeze and poison penetration. Woo! All right. As new offensive stat options, this would let us offer buffs for those gems and other items that will let you freeze and poison enemies that you've never been able to before. Opening up new room for experimentation in combat. Sounds good? Then smash that yes button. And be sure to smash that like button, boys. Good job, Jagex. All right. No, but for real. That's fucking awesome. Am I the only one that's just like super excited about that? Imagine freezing. Well, I'm already thinking of like the worst example that's probably immune to it regardless. Imagine if you could freeze Zora just stuck in like the pool, you know, or the little swamp. That's probably not even going to work because like, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, Jagex does have a lot of tools nowadays to like, you know, their engine can be updated. They can actually update their engine sort of and make optimizations to bosses. So I mean, I'm not going to say that it's not going to be a potential, but I think the biggest thing that's going to come from this is being able to poison anything. You know what I mean? So that'll be pretty cool. Probably, I don't know where it would be useful. I guess anything you're already R-maging, just poison it. And trying to think, what would be a cool option? You guys let me know down in the comments. What would be an insane monster to be able to freeze that can't be frozen already? I'm just trying to think. Like, I know raids monsters, you know, right? Like the only thing I can think of is Akka, because that's the little example they bring up later. I'm pretty sure. Or did they bring it up here? Where am I seeing this? Maybe I saw it on Twitter. It's strange to me. Well, just let me know down in the comments. I can't think of any right now. All right. New rings. For where? Our fingers? Oh, no. Okay. All right. Enough spooky ancient stuff. Let's see some bling. Next on the docket are 4 rings to rule them all. The Fremennik rings have been best in slot for their respective niches since 2005. 18, they can drink. Those fucking Fremennik rings can go to a fucking bar. Jesus Christ. All right. Although the Berserker ring is the standout, it's time to level up on the jewelry front. And while not dead set on the fine details, we'd like to explore a set of rings that will take the Fremennik ring's crown. To clarify, these rings would target the following niches: best in slot melee strength, ranged accuracy, and range strength. Thank fucking God, finally. Finally, you actually have some options with rings instead of just being light bearer or B ring. And before light bearer, it was just B ring nonstop, you know? Like bringing an archer's ring, like I've brought an archer's ring to Nex just for like that tiny little, like I'm talking mass Nex, you know, where you just try to get every little efficiency thing to try to get MVP. It's so useless, but I guess we still bring it. But that would be amazing, range strength. Magic accuracy and magic damage, thank God, and slash bonus and melee strength. So I really hope this final one, I really hope they balance it correctly and make the slash bonus like super high and the melee strength like maybe half as the best in slot, or like whatever they're trying to do, but don't make it so it's like the new Warriors ring that's never used. You know what I mean? Because we all know how shitty accuracy is. So you got to pump this up. And the best news, these rings are going to be super powerful right out of the box. So you won't need to spend extra time in Nightmare Zone, Soul Wars, or the PvP arena. Fuck, dude. Like, I'm just like, these are like the literal 3 worst pieces of content in the entire game. If they threw in Mage Training Arena in there, that would be like the fucking Fantastic Four. But like, what's the opposite of fantastic? Like a word that's like an antonym for it, but still starts with F, something for, whatever. The fucking stupid four. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, yeah, these are just horrible places. Seriously. And I didn't even really know much about the PvP arena, but I've heard some people talk about it recently, and yeah, it's just not great at all. I still have not done one single Soul Wars, and Nightmare Zone's always just had a really bad taste in my mouth because when I came back to the game, everyone was level like 120 with like level 30 Slayer. It was cringe. So yeah. Jesus. We want to know whether you're happy with our plan to give these rings a simple stat boost that will elevate them to best in slot, or whether you'd like them to have more niche applications. So, what is it trying to say? Are they just giving ideas here? Let's see what they say in question 6. The highest voted option will be what we base our fleshed out design off of. Simple stat increases that make them new. Unique effects that place the rings into specific niches. Okay, so I'm going to share my thoughts real quick. I think we should choose number 1. And the reason is because we don't have a range strength ring yet, and we don't have a magic strength ring yet. So simply because those are not already options, I would say let's just full on load out with best in slot new rings. And I would be okay with new niches as well, but what I don't want to see is we just go down the niche route and then we don't get any new archers or mage rings that have actual damage bonuses. We just get some weird, like, if you're attacking with ancients in this fucking robe set, every 10% of whatever you get, it's whatever. You know what I'm talking about? Like, we're not at that stage quite yet. Let's just get some powerful new rings. Yeah, I think that's the way we should do it. But you know what I would also be kind of a fan of is like, well, I don't know. There's still options like for niches. I guess I don't really want to get too much into them because I've already made up my mind that I just want best in slot. But I have had some ideas for like niches. But again, I don't want to go down that road because we got to get the new best in slot. So I'll just not talk about it. The Ruinous Powers. This one's a doozy. Old School's first ever set of new prayers. The ability to wield some of the power that put the fallen empire on the map, like the whole map, will soon be yours. You've already given these phenomenal abilities the green light, but we haven't said a whole lot about them since. We think this is the perfect time to move on to the community consultation phase. That just sounds like so boring. Just saying the 2 words community consultation. It sounds like I'm going to a fucking doctor's appointment or something. Okay, I have a problem, but let's continue. And take a look at some of your ideas. We've seen a handful of fantastic suggestions for one-off prayers and even entire prayer books, but we want more. Holy shit, they want prayer. What's bigger than a book? Fuck. Go ahead and share your ideas for prayers or, again, entire prayer books that fit the Ruinous Powers theme on social media, and we'll keep an eye out for our favorites. All right, that's kind of cool. Okay, it's giving me some ideas. I can make a ramble on something like that. Let me know how you guys... Do you guys want to hear about the prayer book? I think I already came out with a ramble called like the Skilling Prayer Book or whatever, but we can make some adjustments to it. You can feel free to go wild here, but here's what we're especially keen to hear your thoughts on. First up, we want to reiterate, we're not aiming for a carbon copy of RuneScape's Ancient Curses, which were added in the Temple of Sentisten quest in 2009. Of course, we'll be taking a little inspiration from our forebearers, but we want the Ruinous Powers to stand on their own. Most importantly, we want them to feel like a trade-off rather than an upgrade. So if you're about to suggest a new prayer, take some time to think about what the player might have to give up to reap the rewards. One of the most obvious trade-offs we could make is the power of defensive prayers like Protect from Melee, Ranged, and Magic. What if they reduced damage by 90% instead of 100%, but granted additional offensive power or some utility? The possibilities are endless. I'm going to just share my thoughts on this. I hate that. It just reminds me of the invocation where your prayers just don't do as much. Nobody likes chip damage. Nobody likes chip damage, okay? So as cool as that kind of sounds in just like a super 5-second like thought experiment, like, oh yeah, like that makes perfect sense. Like cut one and get more power. It's stupid. I hate it. I hate it. This is a personal opinion, guys. You guys might think differently. But literally just choosing to take a bunch of chip damage for doing more damage is the most boring, stupidest, infuriating possible way you could ever make new prayers that are cool. Just don't do that. We have come so far with this game with full protection prayers, And every time you try to take that away or try to add chip damage, we all get pissed off and butthurt, and the game's just not as fun. Plus, what do you like to see more? And I'm asking you guys in general, would you like to see somebody do the impossible, like Exact doing a 40 combat inferno, Afsol doing the 39 combat inferno, like those things that are literally only possible because you can protect from literally everything? I think those are just the most phenomenal feats ever, and it makes it so awesome that it's not just like a DPS fucking check. You know, imagine like the whole time you're just taking chip damage. You just have to pray that your hit. You know, that's just so stupid. That's boring to me. Now, again, we've already kind of experimented with the invocations. Nobody really likes that. Yes, it's a bigger flex, I guess, if you have those invocations on, but like it becomes DPS checks. I don't like it. Anyway, that was a long ass tangent on that. I didn't really need to go that far, but there's way better options. We'll talk about it in a ramble I make, and it won't be a skilling prayer book I make a ramble of. It'll be more like offensive and combat based. In the spirit of trade-offs, we also want to propose that players should not be able to one-tick flick. Oh my God, no. Fuck. Okay, who's making up this stuff? Okay, well, let me read this again and then I'll share my thoughts. In the spirit of trade-offs, we also want to propose that players should not be able to, guys. We should not be able to one-tick flick anymore. The ruinous powers to sustain them indefinitely. You'd still have to be able to lazy flick to conserve your prayer points and flick between overheads if needed, exactly as many of you are used to doing already. This is a terrible, in my opinion, this is a terrible, terrible way to go about the future of this game. I'm sorry. It's just how I feel. Trust me, there's a lot of people that don't like to one-tick flick, but if you are going to get rid of it entirely, you're just like hunking off a huge chunk of the ceiling, like the skill ceiling that you could have with RuneScape going forward in the future. Literally, this is like so stupid. This is such a stupid idea. Please, guys, we have to not go down this road. And trust me, okay, so I'm going to kind of give a little bit of like a steelman approach to this. I can definitely understand one-tick flicking is obnoxious. It really is. Now, if you've done it for thousands of hours like I and many other players have, you kind of get used to it and it's just totally fine, to be honest. And it's also amazing to watch, like just consuming content of somebody that's so goddamn good at the game, where they can just one-tick flick and they are just always flicking, not losing any prayer points. They're on one prayer point, you know, and they're doing all this crazy stuff. That's so much cooler than just having this kind of just boring thing where, I don't know, there's no ceiling of skill. It's just like you kind of reach a little medium. I'm struggling to explain this. This is horrible, though. So I really don't think we should go down this road. This would be like getting rid of all tick manipulation. As cool as that sounds for some people that just want to chill and AFK this game, it's not good for the game to just get rid of stuff like that. It's not. I'm sorry. It's just not good. So let's not go down this road. Even though there will be busted prayers, let them be one-tickable. Don't try to mess with the tick system. Ugh, okay. You know what? Go down in the comments and talk about this, because I actually want to hear some arguments for and against this, to be honest. Like, obviously, I want to hear people that are on my side of this argument, but I also want to hear the opposing things, just so I have a little bit of a larger sense of, you know, what this could affect. But seriously, right now, I'm thinking absolutely not. Don't mess with that. We're raising this now because the ability to indefinitely sustain these new prayers locks us out of some really interesting proposals. We want freedom to create powerful prayers safe in the knowledge that there's a resource cost for using them. It's still not good. It's not a good way to do it. I'm just going to share a few examples. So you can have prayers that do just drain stuff. For example, imagine there was like a prayer that you turn on, and it's a prayer that says, hey, your next attack will do this much damage or something. So you click the prayer, and then whenever you attack next, it's going to do a huge fucking hit, and it's going to lower your prayer by 5 or 10 or 20. You know, something like that, that makes sense. But if you're talking about a one-tickable prayer, something that can be camped overhead or like just like another offensive prayer, don't restrict it, please. Let us be able to use it indefinitely as long as the player is skilled enough to do it. But yes, there are still options to have prayers and huge like fucking magic explosions and stuff that just deal, 30 prayer to your prayer thing. I don't know. There's ways to go about it. That's not everything's infinite. There is. While we imagine most of you hear the ruinous powers and think, aha, that's a combat thing, we'd also love to hear suggestions for more skilling-focused prayers. They might offer some quality of life, buff your skills, or interact with them in new and exciting ways for the low cost of prayer points. And I did share that. I will say, after getting some feedback on the Ramble, I talked about the skilling prayer book. It really does seem like it just becomes a nuisance overall. If you add too many prayers, that's really the case. If you have too many that just have like abilities in farming and skilling and like woodcutting, mining, fishing, just all these things, it becomes a nuisance. Like you have to use it or else you feel like you're being inefficient. Well, some players feel that way. So we got to be really careful with that. I do agree on that. But yeah, cool. Okay. I think the vote is going to definitely pass with exclusively combat. I'm almost positive on that, and I would be okay with that, certainly. But yeah, there's not even an option for all skilling because the Jagex already knows that like nobody wants that. So I think really what we should do with I am not restricting this game to just having one new prayer book. I would be okay with having like 3 or 4 prayer books in the next 8 years or whatever. 8 years, fuck. Okay. I think for this time, my opinion, of course, I think we should stick with combat. Let me know if you guys disagree. Obviously, there could be some skilling ones, but really, we need some excitement. We need some just super powerful prayers that are combat based. So, I don't know, maybe a little bit of skilling, it would be okay. 1 or 2 would be fine. We'll be making use of this question, your suggestions, and your own ideas. What? We can't let you have all the fun? Or we can't let you have all the fun? What? To put together a set of ruinous powers that you can really get excited about. In the near future, you can expect a blog from us that details a fully fleshed out design and a beta for you to try out these prayers for yourself. If you're happy with what we've offered, we'll lock them in with a poll alongside the other boss rewards outlined in this blog. Fine clothes, rare gems, beautiful jewelry, even a good book. They're all lovely gifts to be sure, although we can't help but think that nothing makes a better Valentine's Day present than a brand new item designed by you, the old school RuneScape community. Community designed reward. Ooh. We want to give you the chance to let your creativity run wild and come up with reward befitting the sequel to an iconic quest. Come up with a design, share it on social, and we'll round up our favorites. It's that simple. There are very few rules here, so let the creative juices flow. The one rule we have is that we want you to make something interesting. For example, if you're designing a weapon, don't get bogged down in stats, level requirements, ammo types, and all that. Tell us why your proposal is the coolest. What does it do? What does it look like? What design space does it fill? For obvious reasons, we're keeping a close eye out for rewards that can easily be split into 4 parts and then combined, but don't let that put you off creating whatever your heart desires. If you're still stuck for inspiration, check out this example of a top-level overview we dug out of the archives. Okay, this is a fucking fantastic suggestion. I have been wanting a new halberd for so long. Like I'm already decided on this. I just want this. I'll be completely honest. Example, bleed polearm. Okay, the fucking name of this sounds horrible, but let's hear it. Long-range melee weapon with the 1+ range that halberds offer. Please, 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 please. This is so good. Relatively strong, tier 75 with a 4-tick attack speed. So not only is this halberd not a 7-tick attacking fucking dog shit weapon that is only good for specking. Now it's a 4-tick attack speed, so it's the same speed as a whip. It's got an additional attack range. And now there's literally just this alone would be totally fine, but they're adding some additional stuff. Each successful NPC hit rolls a 1 in 20 chance to cause the NPC to bleed. Bleed added as a debuff similar to poison that could be applied to NPCs. So they go on with this a little bit more. I'll just read it. There you have a weapon in a nutshell. And if you want to dive into the specifics a little bit more, it might look like this. Bleed deals 20% of initial damage every 3 ticks for 5 iterations. For example, hit a 30, NPC starts to bleed. Bleed effects deal 6 damage every 3 ticks for 5 iterations, resulting in a total of 30 bleed damage over 15 ticks. Some NPCs will be immune to bleed in cases where it doesn't make sense. For example, Chaos Elemental cannot bleed because the Chaos Elemental is basically just a big cloud that bleeds. No. Add a bleed resistance value to NPCs, with most defaulting to 0% resistance. This could be adjusted case by case, or keep in mind for future NPCs. If an NPC moves while bleeding, bonus damage is dealt equal to the current bleed damage. I think just bleed in general is awesome, but I'm a huge fan of this. Just an insanely good Halberd, you know what I mean? Like, that just sounds exciting as hell. Plus, it'll be great for Sarachnis. Let's just be honest. I'll be fully transparent here. I want it for fucking Sarachnis, okay? Sarachnis, there's a way to kill Sarachnis really efficiently where every time it moves, if you're using a 4-tick attacking weapon, 1 in 4 chance, anytime Sarachnis moves to a different corner, you'll have a chance to get an additional attack in. And having like a new Halberd that's just super dominant would be awesome. Plus a little chance for Sarachnis to bleed would be really cool. Plus, if they're adding that if the NPC moves, it also bleeds further. Like, this is just a Sarachnis, this would be amazing to kill Sarachnis with. They could also make this like a 6-tick attacking, because like that's actually how much time you have in between Sarachnis. By the time you hit it and go back to Sarachnis, it's 6 ticks. But no, let's not make this totally for Sarachnis only, but it would be awesome. This is more than enough for us to understand the core of a proposal, so we can weigh up whether it's coming or whether it's something that excites players. Excuse me. Don't worry if you're not able to put together a 20-slide presentation with custom artwork or visuals, or even if you can't find the right font. We love seeing our community share their brilliant ideas with one another, so ultimately, we just want to see you create something that'll blow our socks off. If you're wondering where some of the best places to share your designs are, we'd recommend using either 2007scape subreddit or using the hashtag DT2communitydesign on Twitter. There you have it, a first look at the post-quest rewards for Desert Treasure 2, The Fallen Empire. We're looking forward to your feedback, and we're especially excited to see your suggestions for the community design reward and the ruinous powers. Let us know what you think, and remember, don't eat ancient sand. All right, we got to remember that, boys. Okay, I'm excited about all this. I'll be honest. First of all, I gotta say, I am excited to see other people's suggestions for rewards. I've been a huge fan of getting a new Halberd, so like that already is just what I want. But there's always other cool things that come out. So I've already kind of shared my thoughts. New rings are great. I'm kind of glad they steered away from saying they need to be attachments to DK's rings. I don't think it's necessary. Now, I did think it was necessary for like Bandos and Armra, when you're getting Masori and Torva, those should have been upgraded. But it doesn't have to be everything, and I think they chose the right option with the rings. But there's just a lot of exciting things. They're testing new stuff. Like one of them was just these new ice and smoke. Is the smoke the one that poisons you? Yeah, like these jewels are going to be really cool. I'm excited for them. And there's honestly just a lot of cool stuff coming. So let me know down in the comments, boys, what you guys think. Do you guys have any ideas? What did you like most in this? And also, just to reiterate once again, this is not the final setup. I'm going to get some new stuff in the apartment. I know it just sounds incredibly echoey. I'm getting a headache just hearing the echo in this. So we're going to try to fix this, boys. Also, I will be live on Twitch tonight. So if you guys want to come chill out for a little bit on my Twitch channel, be sure to go down in the description and click that Twitch link. Thank you guys. And catch you in the next one. Happy Valentine's Day. Go make out with somebody.